Diddly dongly doo, it's Ishingloo, and I want to show you my Chinese New Year. I'm sure most of you know a few things about me. I live in China, I teach English here, I have this YouTube channel on which I play video games. I am not a vlogger. I've been interested in doing it for a while, but I guess I never wanted to force it. But this Chinese New Year is the least forced I've ever felt to make content because it's so naturally interesting. You guys probably have a vague idea of what Chinese New Year looks like. Fireworks, lots of red-colored things, good luck, etc. How big of a deal is Chinese New Year in China, though? The answer is a big enough deal that everyone who doesn't celebrate it knows about it. That's how big. It's massive. Everyone gets a week off work for it. You want to talk about how the USA shuts down for Christmas? China shuts down for a whole week for Chinese New Year. The cities clear out, and everyone goes back to the Laojia, or old home, to see their extended family. I'll make some more general observations at the end of the video. Stay tuned for that, and make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. First, I want to walk you through the 5 days I spent in my girlfriend's Laojia, Yuntan Maoming, for Chinese New Year. To understand what dominated the first day we spent in Yuntan, I need to provide a bit of background. Yuntan is a village in the countryside of Maoming, a third-tier city in Guangdong province. City tiering is a Chinese concept of ranking cities. I would say that first-tier cities are cities that everyone in the world knows about. Think Beijing and Shanghai. Second-tier cities are ones that everyone in China knows about. This is kind of like Dongguan, the city I live in. Third-tier cities are cities everyone in the province, and perhaps neighboring provinces, knows about. This isn't how they rank the cities, it's just an easy way for me to explain it to you. Why do I mention all this? Well, even though Era and I live in Dongguan on the Pearl River Delta, and her family lives in Shenzhen, Chinese tend to struggle less with this problem Westerners face when they're asked the question, where are you from? I mean, I could give 10 answers to that. Stamford, Connecticut, Bangkok, Thailand, Easton, PA, Pittsburgh. These are just a bunch of places I've lived at some point in my life. But Chinese capitalize the F in from. For lots of Chinese, it's the hometown with a capital H. This is why her family owns a house in Yuntan that, for 11.5 months of every year, is entirely empty. You can imagine the mess that accumulated over the past year, 2 years. Era's family didn't go back last year. I'd show you footage, but I crashed when I got there and slept through that whole process. Oops. Well, I did wake up in time to mop, organize, and clean dishes, and finally got my camera out to take videos of Era finishing up. Hey, Era.
Hello.
What you doing?
Washing dishes.
How long have we been doing it for?
4 hours.
4 hours?
Yeah.
Just the dishes?
The dishes, half an hour travel.
And this balcony?
This balcony, maybe another half an hour.
There was so much dirt on this balcony. The water was black when it was going down to
We
that
haven't
gutter over
finished.
there.
I think it requires another half an hour at least.
Oh my
Clean the
gosh.
balcony.
I wish we got a picture of what happened in the house before
Too
when we
late.
first came
You
in.
missed that.
Yeah, we cleaned it. I fell asleep.
You didn't clean. Oh, you cleaned 30% of it.
Listen, there are 5 of us. 30% is pretty good. I should only have to clean 20, so thank you. Thank you for acknowledging my hard work. After that, we went to her maternal grandfather's family in the next town over. It's full countryside there. They grow everything themselves, they raise livestock, everyone there's really friendly. It's true what they say about Chinese hospitality. It has its caveats, but it's real, and I felt very welcome, even as a strange foreigner. At the end of the day, we were gifted some chickens and pigeons. The pigeons to take back to her paternal grandfather, and the chickens for what we had to do the next day. People had already begun to light the fireworks. In China, we use chopsticks for everything, even soup. Right?
Yes. No doubt.
It's really difficult for me
No, it's very easy.
to eat a liquid with something designed to pick up solids.
It's not really liquid.
I know, but it's mostly liquid. On the second day, we had a very simple agenda. Go shopping for the New Year's Eve dinner and pray at the village shrine. Before we did that, though, we had to stop at Era's brother's godfather's shop to pay back a debt. Since that meant for sure that they were going to host us and catch up, Era and I slipped out to 逛街, which basically refers to idly walking the street, searching for something to do or buy. It was incredibly lively. This is a small town by China standards, but it was positively bustling. Now, before you say, wow, the big cities must be packed then, no, the big cities are where people from these small towns go to make money. The big cities are completely empty during Chinese New Year because most of the people who live in those big cities aren't from there, with a capital F, and go home for Chinese New Year. We even got to see where kids here go to school. Not much to say here, just look in. It's quite different from the way schools back in the West look. Even Thailand, where I grew up, has a different feel to its schools. I'll let you form your own impressions. We returned just in time to leave for the market, and we saw an instance of that infamous spectacle, a Chinese person trying very hard to not settle a debt of money they're owed. The best explanation I have for this is that simply taking money a friend owes you is too businesslike, and you want to affirm the friendship by showing how little money matters in regards to your relationship. Meanwhile, the debtor naturally wants to show that they're responsible and wants to balance the relationship as soon as possible. Because when you owe someone a significant sum of money, that fact lurks in the background of every interaction you have with someone. Then we went to the wet market. Also, we saw some modernization in Yunnan. JD, or Jingdong, is basically the Amazon of China. Era was shocked. We returned home and went to the village shrine. Out of respect, I didn't record the ritual at the shrine, but there was a second place I was able to get some footage. There's a food offering involved, and then you blow up some firecrackers on the ground. The longer they go for, the bigger the financial blessing your family gets. And after that, we were free. I went back into town to go to the supermarket. The ceiling was literally my height. I was there to buy a coffee mug. I bought this one. By the time we returned to the house, dinner was ready, and this was one of the best dinners I had had all year. I was told this was a rather modest feast by Chinese New Year standards. Still, it was wonderful. After dinner, we walked over to the Cao, Era's father's side of the family area, to have a late-night barbecue. Era's brother, having taken a course from a barbecue master, took the lead. It was delicious. There was a baby. Hello, baby! Oh,
got a baby with some herbal tea.
I tried using my terrible broken Chinese to explain the difference between a sausage and a hot dog to Era's other brother.
热狗，这不是吃碎什么。热狗是放糖在这个上面这里面，热狗有面包。哦，热狗包。热狗需要包，没有包就是热狗什么？
Every 4th of July, there's one big fireworks display that the whole town goes in to some field or a riverbank for. It's magnificent, and then everyone goes home. But you've never seen fireworks like in Chinese New Year in China. It's not one big organized display. It's every single family in the town shooting off their own fireworks. And this footage, I'm told, is actually very modest. Before we went to sleep, Era's brother decided to light one more good luck firecracker chain. I got my phone ready, and then it ran out of storage. Chinese New Year's Day is very easy to explain. First, we sit at home and wait for people to visit. They visit. Within 10 minutes, hongbao, red packets with money inside, are exchanged and they leave. Rinse and repeat 1,000 times. Then, we go over to the big family's compound, and we do the same thing. We spend the whole day just hanging out there. We do a ton of stuff, including taking pictures.
Wow! Oh, Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
Teaching English class.
Mouse! Mouse! Oh, very good. High five. Yeah. Okay. 1 star for Cao Jian.
Okay.
Checking out some chicken eggs.
Okay, we found 1 chicken egg.
Okay, and there are some more.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Hello, what bird are you? What is this? Is this a duck? Are these ducks? Look at these. Look at these. Ooh, it's smelly in here, guys. We shouldn't be in here with
That's all of them.
That's okay, you know. Got some new chicken eggs. Got a nice little chicken coop here. One prosperous rice. One. And we got some ducks. These are ducks, right? What kind of ducks are these? All right. Ooh. Okay, I got poop on my shoes now. All right.
Eating Chinese Butterfingers that are better than Western Butterfingers.
If you like Butterfingers and you're in China, you should eat these. These are Chinese Butterfingers.
Driving cars. Getting into terrible traffic accidents. Doing some low-key gambling with virtual Hongbao on Weixin, which is WeChat or Chinese WhatsApp that's better than WhatsApp. Doing some more exploring.
高州界 Tall City Border 电白界 Electric White Border.
Since by then all the traditions had been observed, we went to the beach. It was the most enjoyable day of the trip. After all this running around, we finally got to unwind. The beach was fantastic. There were all these abandoned boats on the shore of the resort, and I am a sucker for old abandoned stuff. We walked along the beach. The weather was great, the wind was strong, but it wasn't too cold. Nothing much to note here. The wind gave me a pompadour. We saw some Chinglish, which we like to make fun of, but honestly, you have to give people credit for being brave enough to use a language you don't know perfectly. Then I could have sworn I was in Thailand for a moment. We got in the car to look for some seafood. There's this fishing village with this enormous port that we hung around for a while. Because it was the holiday, there weren't many people working, but we got to check out this fleet of fishing boats. I wanted to jump down into one, but I was afraid of something? We found a seafood restaurant for dinner, but while we were choosing what we wanted to eat, the last table filled up, so more barbecue! So you know that whole thing about visiting people on Chinese New Year? That's for the father's side of the family. Guess where you also have to go? Bingo. We returned to Era's mother's family's town, Nahuo, this time for the formal New Year's visit. Man, this family is big. After I said my hellos to everyone, Era and I decided to take a walk around the village. I really quite liked it. This village isn't as wealthy as Yuntan, but I found it to be far more idyllic. It's more hilly, it's got nice winding dirt paths. I felt like I truly was in the countryside rather than in a small town. They had a lot to do with how isolated this village was from Nahuo town. You have to take this small winding path down into a valley to get here. Era's father's family village, by contrast, is right next to the main area of Yuntan. I'd actually been to this town before, and I remember it being much more beautiful. There were far taller trees shading the entire river, and it wasn't nearly as polluted as it is now. That being said, I still found the town to be incredibly charming. After we had lunch and spent a few more hours hanging out, it was time to receive the Hongbao. Holy moly, this was serious. There was a line of children and a procession of aunts and uncles giving them out. I tried to avoid taking any, but you know what happens. One thing that I learned was that at this stage, I don't need to overconsider cultural differences between myself and China. At so many points on this trip, I found myself paralyzed by fear of what I had to do and how I had to act, but everyone was so welcoming. If anything, language was a bigger issue for me than culture. I was trying to speak 3 languages at once: Mandarin, Cantonese, and the local dialect, and I was tripping over myself and getting confused about everything I was hearing. In the end, this was a really positive experience for me, and I look forward to returning, although I've had enough for a year. Back to my normal life, back to teaching, and back to being Ishingloo. Except, hang on! When this video goes up, I'll be on a plane to Thailand, so stay tuned for another video next week. Diddly dongly doo, this was Ishingloo, and if you liked it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If this is the first video of mine you are watching, I am primarily a video games channel, but I am looking to do more vlogs and music and stuff, so you should subscribe for that too. And also check out the video games. It's a ton of fun. Love you all. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!